Hey guys, this is Oshi and this is going to be a very special first impression of a prototype of a new deck that is coming out in May. I mean not May, but the pre-order is for almost the whole month of May. Everything, all the details are going to be in the description below, and maybe in the pinned comment if I remember to do that. Links are going to be where you can find that deck, this deck, where you can pre-order it. And so every technical aspect and the description I got from Stephanie is going to be in the description. So if you're just here to see the cards, there's a flip through with the same information in this description, but other than that, this is going to be my first impression of this deck. Like I said, this is the prototype, so I'm very, very honored again to be able to receive such a unique thing. I was honored when I got the Smoke Ash and Embers prototype. It was such a fun experience having that deck around, and obviously I have the normal version near me as well, so I can show you guys how they look next to each other. But briefly, if you don't know what this deck is all about, it's called Thistledown, which I think is a really cool and cute name. It's a companion oracle, I guess, to the previous decks created by Stephanie and Adam Oehlers. Adam Oehlers is the amazingly talented artist behind these beautiful cards. If you are not new to my channel, you know that these dragons are my dragons. So I was very, very happy to see that there are dragons featured in this deck as well. But I just love the style, and so far I loved everything that these two did together, so I can say I'm a fan. But I did my best not to pull all the cards and show you guys as my favorites, so I selected a few to show as my favorites. Then I have a few tarot and oracle decks that I think that this deck would work well as a pairing. So I'm going to show you guys that. Other than that, I just love how this deck looks, and I have small hands, so I really do appreciate the size. It's smaller than a tarot deck. Let's see, here's one card, the Queen of Cups from the Smoke, Ash and Embers. It's the same. Here are the backs. Oh, the backs are so cool. I'm going to talk about what I think about it more in detail, but let's get the technicality out of the box. So it's the same width as a tarot card, but it's a tiny bit smaller, which is, to be honest, I mean, I love this size. It's a good size, the tarot deck, but this size is perfect. I wouldn't even mind if people from now on started making tarot decks in this size, because it's just, for me as a small-handed person, it's just perfect. By looking at the cards, the overall color tone, I would say it's a bit more muted than the previous ones, or if not muted, that's not the word that is good for it, then maybe it's a more limited color palette, I think, just by looking at it. There's a lot more from this color, this peachy color in the cards. Of course, maybe not, it's just me. I kind of feel like there's more of a sepia tone to these cards, which is not a bad thing or anything like that. But I noticed that when I went through the cards, that they definitely have a more unified look to them than the previous cards, color-wise. There's only a few times where I can see a hint of purple or something like that. So obviously this is a prototype, but I think the colors should be in the same realm as the like the finished product will be, because it was the same with the previous prototype as well. So again, the deck comes with four sides of meanings that you get, which I think is very, very useful. And I don't know why I keep forgetting to do this for my own decks, because it's very useful because you have a gorgeously written and beautiful digital guidebook, but not every time, you're not in the mood every time to pull out a guidebook and look through meanings. If you just want something to help you remember, or just pull back the meaning for the card, these tiny cards are really, really good. And they are same size as the deck itself, so you can just store them with the deck. So like patience, sometimes you just have got to wait. That's what you would get with patience, but it's nice to have it spell out for you sometimes, because not because we are idiots and we don't know how to understand what patience means, but because sometimes patience means a different thing in a different deck. So clarifying it in a simple way is always a really, really good idea, in my opinion. There are extra cards. Not entirely sure if this one is going to be in all of the releases. I'm assuming in the first edition for this deck for its printing, there's definitely gonna be out of the 3 extra cards. This is my favorite. These 2 could be a yes and a no card, which is really great, to be honest. I think I'm gonna go with that, and I'm gonna be with the obvious, like the basic yes and no with the dark and light. But I really like this one, and for me, this feels like a card that will, if it comes up in a reading, it's gonna be a reassurance from the universe that whatever you're dealing with, you're protected, you're safe. Because it kind of feels like, to me, that especially because of the colors, it feels like this is a tiny galaxy, like inside of just one tiny flower there's a tiny galaxy. And I kind of feel like this is a card that could represent a connection to something bigger that we all have within ourselves. So this is how I'm gonna read with that card. But these are blank cards, so you associate meanings however you want. And I wanted to pull out the possibility cards from the Oehlers and Torn, because we have the community card in this deck, and even though it's not the same, it's quite similar. And I just love the kind of nod, or like a little throwback in a way, even though they're different, that connects the 2 decks. And then look at the dragons. Yeah, I kind of like that idea of having something similar in illustration with 2 different keywords, but something that actually like connects well together, because there's possibility in community, and there's community in possibilities. Sometimes you find your community if you take up a possibility, or like an opportunity. So I just like that. I can't promise that my first impression is gonna make a lot of sense for you guys, but I'm here to show you the cards. Okay, so these are the rest. So like I said, you can check everything out in the flip through. But let me show you some cards that I really like. I mean, Curiosity with the spider. I wasn't a fan of spiders. I can't say that I'm the biggest fan of spiders still, but sting bugs happened, so my relationship with spiders are so much better. And this one looks like a tiny, I don't know the name in English, but the ones that people keep as pets, which is not even a spider anymore. I kind of feel like that's something else. I like the dreams, because a dragon is dreaming of a flying squirrel. Like, it's all a dream already, but it's just like, this card could lead into deep philosophical questions, and yeah, I'm not gonna do that, but I can see that already. I like the kindness card, obviously, for the keyword, but I just love the purples and the colors, and the tiny wounded dragon and the tiny bunny. I really appreciate the word kindness being in this guidebook in this deck, because kindness is a very important word for me. So every time that it is in a deck, I really feel much more connected to it. These days I don't really use a lot of oracle decks. I have a few that have a special place in my collection, so I don't just say this because this was sent to me and this is a prototype, and like I said, I feel very honored to have it, but I definitely can see this deck being an essential part of my collection, which is a great thing. Making Space was another one again. I just love bats. They are amazing. They are cute. And having the tiny mouse, like hanging, so literally hanging with them, hanging out with them is just the cutest thing. And it just shows that, if we try, we can really honestly make space for others. So it's a very cute, very unique keyword. I think it's a very needed keyword. Okay, snails moving forward. I just love the idea of using snails for something like this, because I think moving forward for most of the time feels really, really hard and slow. But if you start, you're gonna get somewhere. And snails are not the fastest creatures on earth, but they are still making progress. I appreciate the opportunity not being something easy, because the mouse is, like trying to go down on a branch that has thorns. But I think these cards highlight that aspect of the opportunity that we sometimes forget to talk about, that there might be a price you have to pay for that opportunity. If it's an actual real opportunity for something real to happen, or something meaningful of value, that has value to be added to your life, then you will have to go through some hardship, or what's the other word, get over some obstacles to reach it. And I think it's a very good reminder for that. I just love the protection for the simplicity. Sometimes when you're the bigger person, when you're in position of protecting others who are not in that stable position in their life, I think you should do that. Not because, it's your duty, but because you can. Because you have what it takes to protect other people. I think that's what I see in the cards, because I haven't read through the guidebook, because I stopped myself doing that before the cards were here. But I'm gonna do that, obviously. Re-energize with the bee. I wish people would keep a tiny bottle of sugar and water mixed together in their bags, and when they see a bee on the ground who lost their energy, they would put a tiny piece of leaf next to that bee and drop some sugared water, not like actual real sugar, because a lot of people think that anything else that's not sugar is better for the bees, but nope, they need the sugar next to the bee, because they could re-energize. And that's what I was thinking, that yes, please, people, do that. But I just love that it's a bee, and yeah, sometimes you need that when you're a busy bee and you're working hard, you need that. But I also think, like, please, people, do that. Resourcefulness, it's a tiny dragon. Like, I love the bird, but I also just very much enjoy the tiny dragon. I love tiny dragons. What can I say? I'm not gonna apologize for that. So these are my absolute favorites right now, but like I said, it was very hard to pull a few cards and name them as favorites, because this deck is already really cool. So I'm gonna show you a few deck pairings that I think that will work well. I have my and then I have, at the end, something fun just for me. You can totally skip that. It's gonna be, I have a deck called Zombie Oracle, and I have a few cards that has the same keywords as this deck. And I just find it kind of interesting to put those two cards with the same keywords next to each other, but you know, if you're not interested in that, you can just, I'm telling you ahead that there's gonna be a few pairings, but then if you want to skip that part, feel free to. Okay, so this is the, should have started with the Oak Ash and Thorn, but whatever. This is the Smoke Ash and Embers deck, and you'll get tiny dragons. It's not the exact same color, like I said, color scheme or color palette. This deck feels more muted, but obviously it's the same author, same illustrator, so it's gonna be, you know, like even the bags are gonna look next to each other really nicely. But I think that it's gonna work really well with these two is, for example, the main color here is the peachy brownish color, and when I looked at this card previously, I never paid attention or as much attention to the flower, but colors can, you know, draw your attention to details that you haven't previously noticed. So, and I'm working with this deck, but I don't do reversals, so I don't know why it's flipped around, whatever. The Star and Opportunity, I think it's brilliant, because the star is all about coming through hardship and finding something to move forward, and then to follow still your plans and have hope for the future. And you know, the opportunity might be, if can I find that strength in me to actually get over the hurdle? So stuff like that. I think it is going to work very, very well. Three of Swords, Dreams, and I'm gonna stop, you know, doing readings. Queen of Cups. So this is my monthly deck, by the way, the Smoke Ash and Ember. So I might just put this deck next to it in the study. The next one is another obvious one. Is the Oak Ash and Thorn. I think these two matches better color palette wise, even though the colors I still feel like more vibrant in the tarot decks. And I haven't, you know, talked about this. I haven't asked anything from Stephanie, because I wanted my first impression to be first impression, Bravery and the Empress. Isn't that really cool? But so, you know, it might be very well spelled out somewhere where I'm just not aware of yet. King of Swords with Contentment. So obviously these two are going to work well together as well. Oh, I don't know what down means exactly in this deck with the Five of Wands. That's interesting. Think of all the possibilities a new day can bring. So yeah, get over, you know, petty conflicts and arguments that are not important, and concentrate on starting anew. I like that. Nine of Swords decision. Okay, I'm gonna stop, but you know, these two obviously work as well brilliantly, and I'm assuming the 3 deck will work as well. So if you like doing multiple deck readings, which I do, then it's something that will work very well. Another deck that I'm doing, I want to say I'm doing a deep dive into it, but I'm struggling with the study. Is the Wildwood Tarot, which is similar in content, as in, you know, it's plays out in a forest, in a Celtic realm, in a forest. So the Mirror and Friendship. But the Mirror, this is not following exactly the Rider-Waite-Smith system, so cards are not completely what they mean, but you know, if you just go with the keywords, the mirror and the friendship, friendships are mirroring back to us who we are in certain situations. So, you know, what do you see in your friends when you look at them? The journey and guardedness. Haven and the Isabeau Spark of Light. So I don't know enough about this deck because I haven't studied it deeply enough, but I'm intrigued by it. So yeah, it's gonna, I feel like they look nice next to each other. And I'm wondering which one is going to clarify which one. You know, like the tarot is going to be there to clarify what these cards mean, or the other way around. But I do think that they look nice next to each other. Another one is the Hush Tarot. Again, it's more about the visual side of things for now, but the Hush Tarot is one of my favorites. Page of Swords with Knowledge. So I guess there's gonna be obvious pairings with this deck. King of Pentacles and Light, or not. It's gonna be much more fun. The Hermit and the Light. Okay, I'm gonna pretend this was the first, pairing, because this is just cool. But they look next to each other really nice. I think they are in the same realm in a way. The Fool and Look Up. Oh, and look at that. The Fool and Look Up. I like this one as well. So yeah, I think they're gonna work very, very well together. The next one is a deck that is quite new to my collection. It's the Midnight Magic. It's a mushroom-based deck, so obviously it's in the same, it's in the forest as well. But I do think that even though this is more colorful and has a dark background, they can play nicely together. We have the Two of Wands with Memory. Why is everything upside down when I don't want it to be? Okay, cool. Page of Pentacles with Navigation. The pages are, like learning their way. So navigation is a good card for that. And the Four of Wands, Patience. I like that too. Sometimes you have to wait for an occasion to celebrate things. Temperance with Pose. I think, yeah, they gonna look really nice next to each other and work well. Next one is the Spacious Tarot, which is a much more simple deck. There are no humans in it, which I think helps. Six of Swords and Planning. That's a very good pair as well, because release Explorer of Wands. A lot of humans in like a normal sense of way, I don't think for me would work well. But look at that, Two of Cups and Serenity. But not having a lot of humans in a deck just helps. And look at the similar colors in these two, Death and Resourcefulness. So yeah, I think the Spacious Tarot is going to be another really well working pair for this deck. I only have one other tarot deck and then just a few oracle decks, but I wanted something that had stronger colors but was still more simpler and has some people in it to show moving forward a Three of Pentacles. It's a very peepish deck, but Three of Pentacles also is about teamwork and working together. And if you look at the moving forward card, the snails are not moving forward alone. Like I said, it's something that can help you move forward if you have help from other people. Making space with the Emperor. Oh, that's a very good one. Because if you're in the position of power, you're the one who's actually in a position for making space for other people. And I think a lot of rulers forget that. Queen of Swords with Dreams. Do you dare to dream if you're in a position of power? Strength with Acknowledgement. Do you acknowledge your struggles, your strength, or can you even name which area in your life are you actually powerful, where you have strength? So yeah, I think this deck, even with the pips, are going to work very well. I mean, Two of Swords, decision with awareness. So yeah, this is another one that I think is going to work very, very well. And the last tarot deck is one of my absolute favorites. It's the Majestic Earth or Tarot. Ace of Clouds, Bravery. I think this could work well. I'm not entirely sure because, these are paintings in a different style, so that might be something that are not working well. But look at that, the Lovers and Contentment. They might be content to be on each other's side. Strengthen the darkness. Huh. Okay. I can totally see this working. Two of Wands or Trees with Down. A new journey. Decision with Seven of Clouds, which is the Seven of Cups. And you need to make decisions with that card. Okay, this is the Spirit card with Explore your spirituality. So yeah, I think these two, after all, are going to work very nicely together. But obviously I'm gonna do a 6 months in at some point, or a deck study with this deck as well, and post my findings if you're curious. And then just one oracle deck that I have, which is the Anatomy of the Witch Oracle, which I don't know why I think it's going to work, but it felt like it's going to work. And this is a huge, deck. So size-wise, they are different with air and ferocity. Ferocity, how do you say the ferocity? Align with friendship. Amulet with guardedness. Huh. You can guard yourself with some amulets, that's for sure. Bless with haven. Ooh. I think the keywords can work very well. Either, like pulling one card from each deck, or pulling one from this one and two from this one, just because of the size difference. Cleanse with intrigue. That's an interesting idea. So yeah, I think, they look nice next to each other, and they can work next to each other with knowledge and create. Like, you can create something that's based on previous people's work, and not stealing, obviously, but build on previous knowledge, your own and others. So yeah, I think this is going to work as well. And the last two is two tiny affirmation kind of decks, so I'm gonna show you together. Which maybe I can't because they are not oriented the same way. Let's do it this way, because it's kind of like pointing that way. For example, we have Orchid in this one. Your uniqueness is always perfectly lovely. Then we have the Lady of the Lost. Give to others, treasure life and all its magic with knowledge. And then let's get some other ones to see how they look. For example, Gardenia, listen to the divine whispers stirring in your heart with the Gatekeeper. Let go, all things are possible on the borderlands. It's very, like spiritual. And also with Retreat, sometimes you need to, take a step back to hear these whispers, to hear what the other side is trying to tell you. So I think these tiny ones are going to work, especially these two. Maybe these are going to be just, like extra. Maybe these flowers, aspiration, no, flower petals, this is the one, are not going to be as good, but the Forest Fae by nature is going to work, I think, pretty nicely. Spirit familiar, seek loving connections and cherish friendships with serenity. Yes. So yeah, these are the ones that I want to show, that how they work. And then now, just an extra, let's look at my cards with this deck. So there are not a lot of cards that has the same keywords. One is not even exactly the same, but I just enjoy the fact that there are, you know, like connecting points between the two decks. So this is my zombie oracle. So I was thinking that, you know, I just take a look at the similarities maybe between the two decks, because I do think that I'm gonna actually use these together. But I don't want to, you know, think people that I'm just pushing my own thing when I'm talking about a different deck. So that's why I'm like, if you're not interested, just go ahead and skip this one. So we have community, and it's quite interesting. Like, obviously there's a community in the cards. I mean, I hope so in mine as well, but this is more about finding rest, being able to, you know, feel protected and safe. And this is because this deck is in the zombie apocalypse and what it would happen in a round like that. And this is afterwards, when you find community where you can feel safe as well. Just it's more about the celebrating life together part. Okay, then the next one is celebration. Mine is about food and spending time in being loud, being able to be loud, because zombies are not gathering. And this is not about it. I mean, there are some food, but it's also about being visible and being just who you are and celebrated for it. Because it kind of feels like a birthday party. This bird is having a birthday party, and the others are gathering gifts for the bird. Next one is grieving and grief, and I kind of like the simplicity of this card as well. But how grief can be something that you carry with yourself, and with mine, it's about finally allowing yourself to put out that, to light that candle, to, you know, acknowledge what you lost in the past period. And I think it's part of this one as well, in a way that, you know, the turtle is carrying all those memories and the burden, and it's not going to be something that they can just put down, because it's part of them, and it's not necessarily even a bad thing. With guidance, we have a completely different card, obviously. Mine is a tarot reading. And with this tiny one, it's, I don't even know, it's you're being guided by yourself or with the crystals. How did you find the crystals? So yeah, this is different, obviously. And then we have rest. This is a card about don't wait until you die and become zombie to rest. And yeah, this one is, I'm assuming it's also just, you know, the need of taking some rest. Where's the rest? Yeah, take care of yourself and rest those very bones. Again, the same idea that, you know, don't wait until things are not so good anymore to take a rest. And safety. Mine has a double meaning, as in what can make you feel safe can restrict you as well. I'm not sure if it's true for this card as well, but it's definitely finding that place that is allowing you to feel safe and rest. But I think they look nice next to each other. I kind of like the down sunsets. It's not even dawn. I think it's a sunset. The colors next to each other, for some reason it works for me. But yeah, you know, it's just for fun that, you know, different decks can have the same keywords, but they can be completely different. And let's not judge a deck because, you know, it might have similar keywords we found before and think that it's not gonna show us something new. So give Thistledown a chance for sure, if you can. I think I've said everything that I wanted for this first impression. I really do love what I'm seeing so far. I really like the tactile experience of this deck is brilliant, but I was expecting that even with the prototype, which is not even as good quality as the the final finished product is going to be. But I'm just so excited, and I cannot wait for others to use this deck because I think it's gonna be a staple in a lot of people's collection. But thank you so much for being here. I hope this was useful. Like I said, you can find all the information where to get this deck. The pre-order is for a month long, so don't worry that you're missing out. And even if you miss out the initial first pre-order, there's gonna be more printings, I'm sure, but don't listen to me. If you can, get the deck now, but if you don't think that I'm trying to pressure you into getting the deck. It's nothing like that. So just get it if you can, because I really do think that you're gonna enjoy it if you enjoyed Stephanie's previous decks. Okay, thank you so much for being here. Hope this was useful. See you in the next one. Bye.